This conference will now be recorded.
You unmute your mic, sir.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, thank you very much, Nasra sir, for your wonderful introduction,
Thank you. Thank
and also so giving a wonderful opportunity to interact and share my views on the current topics that I'm working on. And also, I would like to give thankful to you as well as your college and principal sir and all whoever is a part of leading this particular initiative. This is going to be really useful to the students and many more people here. Yeah, so without doing any further delay, so maybe I would like to have a more interactive kind of sessions here rather than one side or one way air traffic. So feel free to speak and unmute and speak or use your chat words. Okay, I mean the chat session, so that anytime if you are having any doubt, immediately we'll get it clarified rather than waiting until last. Okay, so before I can get it started, maybe I'll quick ask one questions. Maybe you can just put your answer on chat window so that it might be helpful for me while I am progressing my session. Just to understand, what kind of participant that we are having. Is that like all are the students here, PG students, and the graduates, or do we have any working professionals as well? Maybe if you had work experience in any of the technologies, like apart from, I know like many of the sessions are on machine learning, but do you have any experience on any other programming knowledge like Java, .NET? If I just mention that your skills name, you can mention it in chat window, or if you are just specialized in the AI, just you can mention AI. Okay. Do we have anyone here who is aware of RPA, robotic process automations? Is this completely new word to you, or did you already hear about this? Just say yes or no. If you already hear about the robotic process automation, you can mention yes. If you did not hear this is the first time, just mention no, so that I'll try to cover up so that you can easily understand it rather than going with the technical strong words. Please feel free to just say yes or no. The question is, are you aware of or are you familiarized or did you hear about robotic process automation, what it is, how it works? Oh, I see 93 participant. Can I expect few answers, please? Yes or no? So slides are not yet started. I'm just trying to understand, because when we started with the machine learning, many of the people might be aware of what is machine learning, what is intelligence automations, how it works. So, and then we are trying to cover pretty much in-depth knowledge there. But this is something, I'm hoping that RPA is new to this, but I'm still want to double check whether RPA is something which you are aware of or not. But if you are really hearing this RPA word for the first time, maybe this could be a choice for you to bring your skills and then start your career in this one with a very less span of time. So normally, unlike machine learning and artificial intelligence, which requires for you to post graduate or spend 6 months or 1 year time to familiarize with the expertise, but the tool which I am explaining here is like a maximum of 3 months is sufficient for you to expertise, and you can really start your career in this one if you're looking for a job immediately or the way down the line. Okay. Okay, so what I understand here is like the RPA word is completely new to all the participant here. So which is good that I am introducing you a new topic today. So before that, I will share my screen. Hope you can see my screen. Can someone confirm? Yeah. So As you see, the robotic process automation is the full form of the RPA. Okay, but unlike what you see physical robot in our human rights, like we have seen the robot in the robot movie, right? But unlike that, we are not having any kind of physical robot in this case. What we are discussing here, but it is something like the EXE the setup that is being running in your mission is called the robot. Okay, and what is this robot is doing is like the automation. Okay, automation means like without the human interaction, it does its job. But then what kind of job that it is doing? Yes, it is doing the some process. Then what is the process? The process is something built of some rules. Okay, so what kind of rules, how it is, okay, how we can do, we'll be discussing. So in today's topic, we'll be discussing like what is RPA, how it works, and what are the benefits of RPA and the popular RPA tools, and what are the career opportunities in this one. Okay, and futures and who can use this RPA and major features of the RPA. And also I'll explain you the real-time example so that you can understand what kind of problems that RPA is solving today. And there is a popular tool called UiPath, which we can build this RPA by using one of the tool called UiPath. And I will explain you how this tool can be installed, and then how we can build it a bot here. And I'll also try to run in the by using a tool. I'll just try to show you one sample example how any kind of the problems that a robot is going to solve. Okay, so without delay, making it delay. So as mentioned, RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation, which is a software bots, which basically automates the repetitive and rule-based tasks. Okay. Before I proceed further, I'll just try to give you a sample example. Like let's say you might hear about the claim processing system, where um, whenever I'm not sure like whether you have submitted any claims, or basically let's take if I take an example of the health claims, right, where you have taken the insurance from so and so company, or else if you are having a vehicle, okay, and someone is having a vehicle which met with some accident, and then you are trying to claim for that vehicle. Okay, so for that basically wherever that you took the policy, you are you will be submitting them that the so and so incident happened, I want to get the claim. But the claim details, whatever that form that you are filling, so is pretty much the template is pretty much same for everyone in the country or the state, right? So when there is such template which the common for everyone, but is very huge in the number of items or the number of the claims. So there will be certain rules, and there will be certain elements or parameters in that particular claim form example. Okay, so basically what is happening here is the people who are processing this claim are they train on like what elements that they need to look from the claim form, and then they by using those elements they will search in their portal, their website. Okay, and then they will enter all this data into the portal, and then they will submit it for further. So here it is completely repetitive job, whether you are submitting one claim or 100 people are submitting 100 claims or 1000 people are submitting 1000 claims, does not matter the number, but basically the same thing is being repeated. Okay, so whatever and wherever there is a something repeated which is with a rule based. What is the rule based? So when you are submitting something, any claims in the system, so you will always check whether this policy is really exist or not. So there is a rule. What is the rule? Whether this policy is still active or not. Okay, yes, active. Then what is the claim limit for this? Is this already they claimed some amount or not claimed? If it is already claimed, then how much it is claimed, how much else they can claim. So these are the certain rules to claim for that process. So those are the rules we can the program here, and then we can write the logic accordingly. Okay, hope I'm clear on what kind of job is now can be automated. So basically anything that comes in a, anything that is done by a human before, okay, without much time to time the knowledge and own knowledge applying, but it is completely blindly you are following certain rules. and then you are doing repeatedly every day. So in that case, we can replace that human resource with the robot. Okay. So if meanwhile, if you got any questions, feel free to put it in chat window. I'm monitoring the chat window inside. Okay. And now if you look at the second point, RPA bots basically mimics the human actions, which I just explained you. Basically, they can do the typing, they can read the data, and they can interact with any applications like this. So basically, uh, when we receive the form, right? So the form might be a physical copy, or they can be submitting on their portal. Okay, so for example, if the claim is submitted by a hard copy, so those will be sent to the head office. Now head office, what they will do is they will scan all those copies, and we are having a tools like OCR tools which can extract the data. Okay, and then it can read the data. So now our robot has capability to type into on the website. Okay, so it reads the data from the scanned copy, extract the information, and then it will start typing all the data based on the rules that we build here, and then it will type it onto the web portal wherever that we define. Okay, at the same time it can read the data from your browser as well. So when I'm saying reading or writing, so it can be a browser based applications, or it can be any application that you are having inside your desktop, or it can be Excel as well, or it can be any Word document, or it can be like anything. So the robot will have capability to read or write the data from Excel, or it has capability to read or write into the web portal or web application, or it can also interact with any application that you are having. Let's say mainframe application. So the robot can also read the data or write the data into the mainframe as well. Okay, so all this interaction with any type of applications the robot will have. Okay, and RPA is not about the physical robot, it is a software based automation that works on your computer. Okay, so what is the benefit? The benefit is basically, it reduces the error because the human made mistakenly give the typos. Instead of typing something else, they may type something else, right? So there is a chance. It's not necessarily that everyone will make it, but there is a possibility that do it. But because we are doing it programmatically, and it's basically reading from some existing source and then writing in another source, it's like a copy paste. So the machine will never, it won't happen that errors, right? So it reduces the error, and then it speeds up the process. So human can type. Let's say if you are having a registration form on your portal where you need to fill around 20 fields or 30 fields, you might need around 10 to 15 minutes of time to fill all the data, right? Whenever you are doing any registration form on the portal, it requires minimum 20 to 30 minutes. But the same thing, the robot can fill all those forms within less than a minute time. So it is speeding up the process. Okay, and improves the efficiency, yes, of course, and lower the cost for the companies. So if you require one person is doing this job, of registration or the claim submitting for 10 to 15 minutes, the robot can do the same 15 minutes job in 1 minute or 2 minutes. And then how many claims you are doing per day? The human can do maybe 20 claims or 30 claims, but there is no limit for the robot. The robot can run 24 by 7, Saturdays, Sundays including, and no tea breaks, no lunch breaks, right? So basically, it can increase the number of transactions that is being processed by a robot. Okay, so it even reduces the cost to the companies as well. That is the one of the benefit. The second is to build these robots. It may be a no coding or low coding, unlike what we are writing in machine learning Python code, right? So where you will be using some editor and then writing a number of lines. But in RPA world, so there are multiple tools available, which pretty much with the drag and drop kind of activities. So that if you want to write any if condition, you will be just dragging you you will just drag one activity, which eliminates a lot of coding. Just give me a minute. Okay, so many RPA tools, as mentioned, provides a drag and drop, making it an easy for non-programmers to create any automation. So if you are, though if you are not from much of a technical skills or the programming, but still you can easily learn those tools without much efforts. Okay, these are the primary benefits. And what are the popular RPA tools available in the market? Yeah, so here I mentioned UiPath is one of the popular one, and then we got a Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, and Power Automate. So these are the four the top, but there are plenty as well. But many of the MNC companies or many of the customers or the clients are using these are the major platforms, and each and every tool will have their own licensing cost, depends on the features that they are providing. And most of these automation tools are now also supporting your machine learning and AI capabilities as well, so that it is bringing that automation into more of intelligent way. Okay, I'll explain like how the intelligent will come, or how AI or ML related things, making your automation is more intelligent. I'll just give an sample example. Okay, and yeah, coming to the career side, so if you are learning this RPA, right, so there are different roles like RPA developers, or there is a business analyst, and there is a solution architect or technical architect or RPA consultant. So even in India or any abroad companies, there are many companies which are adapting this RPA as their one of the technical skills, like Java and .NET team they are having. So this RPA is also now becoming very much common. So this is not something newly came, but it's been already 5 to 6 years that RPA have become popular. But now it is even evolving with a more of intelligent way because of its advantage and cost saving to the companies. Okay. So I listed down a couple of industries who can adopt this, but these are not just limited with this, but there are many. Each and like every companies or industries can adopt this RPA. So for example, if I take the banking, right, the banking and finance, so there is something called loan processing or automated loan processing is one of the primary use case. So what they will do is the robot can read the document, okay, and then there may be a several checks before their loan gets approved. Right? I mean, let's say if I am taking applying for the personal loan, and when I am applying my personal loan, I will give my personal all the details, including my PAN card number and my income details. But that doesn't mean that whatever the details that you provided is by default considered as a trusted and then 100% accuracy, right? So there will always be a background check happens. So for this, let's say when you give your PAN card, so they will obviously check your CIBIL score. To check your CIBIL score, you may need to open the CIBIL website to read the data. So there is another system involved here where one person is going and logging into their CIBIL's website, and then they will enter the PAN card, and then they will get the CIBIL score. Okay, that is one of the manual work. And then there if there are any existing loan, or there may be any criminal checks if required. So all those things needs to be required, which requires interaction with multiple systems, right? So when you are interacting with the multiple systems, you might be required to access multiple different websites to pull their data, and then finally you are going for approval system. So if one person is doing to get the civil score manually, it may be again 5 to 10 minutes of job. So instead of that, we can create a process automated by using RPA, so that you will be entering the PAN card as an input parameter, so that you'll keep the data ready. That will be done instead of 5 to 10 minutes. 1 minute job is done, right? So how much time it is saving for one person? It may save like instead of 4 minutes saved within a minute or less than a minute it is done. But over the country, for a bank like SBI, who has customers across the India, might be getting 500 or 1,000. We don't know, right? So depends on the bank. So there may be hundreds or thousands of the transactions are coming. So you are reducing almost like 70 to 80% of the time here to required. So earlier it might be taking quite longer time to get the status on your loan, whether the loan is getting approved or not. Maybe a couple of weeks, which is now can be done within a few days. Okay, few days is still taking because there may be still required human intervention before finalizing things. But otherwise, the automation can be done with 100% automation as well as up to 80 to 90% as well. Okay, so if still required any human intervention there, then it may slightly increase the time. But otherwise, if it is completely 100% end-to-end automated system, then it can be done on the same day as well. So that is how we can implement RPA in banking system. And there is something called retail and e-commerce. Okay, so here order processing and inventory management. So you might be interacting with multiple systems to get the updates on the stocks. What is the stocks available in this branch? What is the stocks available in this location? So there may be different dates. So your robot can pull all the information, keep it ready on a dashboard. Okay, so that now you can just get it processed. There is something called insurance. I was just explaining, like claim processing. Okay, so insurance, not only the claim, there are many more, but I'm just taking one of the example. But I worked in one of the insurance company where we have built close to 20 robots for the 20 different requirement. Another example, like in machine learning, what we might be having a categorization, right, where the email is spam or not is a very widely used example. So instead of just like the email is spam or not spam, but here the insurance companies might be giving a common email ID to all the its customers. But that email ID, the requirement might be for the different types of queries. Okay, so whether it is the liability related claims or investment or is the home loan related, we don't know. There could be 100 number of 100 types of categories. And that email which public is sending, we don't know this particular email is looked by which particular team or particular department inside their company. Okay, so in that case, rather than a person sitting there and then, okay, this particular email has to be reviewed by this department and this particular email has to be reviewed by another department, rather than a person deciding it, let your robot filter it and then move it to the respective board. Okay, so that half of your job is done, then the respective team can pick this up. If required, there is automation chance, you can that can still also be automated rather than a person is doing. Okay, so this is another example, the insurance industry which can widely used by RPA. And you can implement this in human resource HR, where after any new resource onboarded, they want to send their welcome email or any checklist or any access to be given. So rather than one HR sitting there and then giving access in different systems, let robot does this. So that doesn't matter if a company like MNCs, where daily 200 or 300 new resources are joining across their the world, across the India, across the country. All those things can be done in a central place with robot. So that instead of 10 HR working, one HR can just monitor how many transactions are completed, how many are still pending. Let the robot does this. Okay, and we can also implement RPA in government. So earlier, tax filing, some of you might be aware of this. Like we used to fill and send this form to the Bangalore tax office, and it will take like a 2 months, 3 months, and 4 months as well. But nowadays, this has been drastically reduced, and the refunds are happening so quickly, right? So even in this case, also the robotics plays a major role in sending their refunds. This is all because, um, see, when you are calculating their tax refunds, it might require to interact with the multiple systems again. They cannot create another system to interact with their individual system. So instead of doing that, our robot works on top of the existing system. That is the beauty of the RPA here. Let's say if the Google is already Google search one, we always use Google, right? And if you want to search something here, let's say I want to see temperature today, one example. So this is giving us one interface, and this has one text box where we can put some input here. And if you are having any registration page, there will be a n number of text boxes, radio buttons, checkbox, everything will be there, where those all are the different inputs. Okay, and what is the input I can give? I'll just say temperature. I can just have temperature today. so that wherever you are, it will just show you the temperature. And if you want any specific, then you can mention that place name. Sorry. So I'm just taking this as an example where we can give some input and you can take output. Okay. So like this, if you are having n number of places where you want to take the temperature of different countries, then what I will do manual work here, I'll just type one by one. So I took it. I give the input as India here, temperature in India, and then I am reading this. And then I will put it in Notepad. I'm just showing one sample example of how a manual works can be done. So temperature in India, I'll just mention India and then it'll say 30. Then what is the next one? So I have here next is UK. Okay. So now what I need to do, I'll copy this data, I'll put it here, I'll hit enter and then read the temperature. And then copy this one and then put it here. So this is my manual work. Okay. And what is my next one I have? Let's say Australia or I'll just say Sydney. The city name, I'll put it here, paste it. Okay. I'll copy this, I'll put it here. Okay. So here I am saving in Notepad, but this place can be my Excel as well. So that I am creating an Excel format. So here, how many parameters I have? I have only two parameters: enter something, read something. But if you are having a registration page where you need to pass your first name, last name, email ID, your gender, date of birth, address, and address also first name, address line 1, address line 2, address line 3, pin code, and you are having many other details as well, like depends on the form, the details. So if it is an institution or any college, again it will ask you like which course you are interested in, which year you are joining in, all those information. So it depends on each of these things. So those many parameters will multiply. But in this case, I just took only one. But now, if I want to automate this, so that I can put all my data into any one file, okay, and then enter, and then I read the data. I'll put it here. Let's see how a robot can do it. I'll just show you one sample after some time. But this is how what we are achieving by using RPA, or the robotic process automation. Okay, but in this example, we might be interacting with only one system. But whereas in real time in industries, you might be interacting with one applications or you might be interacting with the same applications but multiple ways. So for example, if I take Amazon, okay, so I just enter one website. I want to, someone has told me to extract all the smartphones available in Amazon website so that I can publish it in my portal. But normally this might not be a real time one, but if you want some jobs, let's say you created one job portal. Okay, but because you just recently created, but you don't have any jobs available in your portal. But instead of doing that, you might be interested to take it from Monster website. Okay, and take all the jobs available. Go there, enter RPA UiPath jobs, enter location here. Okay, so you are entering something, you are clicking on hit enter, and then it will display you all the jobs here. Now what you need to do, it will give you the list of jobs available. You click on this job and then read the title, which location it is, what is the description, okay, what is the location, what is the salary, what are the information that they are having here, right? Company, location, everything. Okay, take all this and put it in Excel so that someone else will enter all those data into their portal so that at least initially it will show yes, you are having some jobs in your website. This is a manual job. It's again repeated thing and then rule based. So if you want to create 1,000 number of jobs, if you are a person is doing it, it may take 1 week or 10 days or 1 month, depends on the number of fields that we are having. So if this can be done by robots, it can be done in a single day. It can read thousands or the 2,000 or 3,000 number of jobs, and it can put it in your website very easily. So that kind of job will be done by using RPA. Hope I made you clear what is the objective of RPA here. Any questions here before we can go proceed? Just say yes if you are clear on your on the concept of what we are using RPA. Thank you. Thank you for posting. Okay, so the futures here, like robotics, this tools and technologies, as every day evolving day by day. So initially, when it started with just RPA or the robotic process automation, it was not having any kind of intelligence automation. But as the technology has been evolved, right, and every each and every industry is now adapting the artificial and machine learning. So they also RPA is also adapted this AI features. So how this can be involved in our RPA? I'll give you a simple example so that you can understand it. So, for example, machine learning can read the vehicle's number, right? If you take a photo of a vehicle, and we have the models to read the number plates. Let's say if we integrate this images onto our web cameras for the security reasons, it could be for the traffic police, or it could be for in front of your house. You can build a cameras, right? But if you install these kind of AI based, which can read the numbers, okay, on a street, where you want to um, read capture all the number plates, so that you are keeping all the data ready with you, and you can use the data for the different purpose. One is, like if any of the stolen vehicle is going on through that one, you can write a program to highlight, yes, this particular vehicle has just passed through this way. And if you install this all over the city, you can easily capture, identify the stolen vehicle, right? Or if you are also having any kind of challans on that vehicle, it can also trigger a email or alert to the nearby police that so and so vehicle is just passed, and this has so many challans on this one, or which you might be looking for that particular vehicle, right? So these kind of machine learning models can be implemented here, so that all those data can be collected by using the AI and ML models, and that data can be fed as an input to our robots, and robot can do further processing on it, like if any theft vehicle passing through that way, and if it found, so you just take the vehicle number from that, so that the robot will send email to so and so person, or it can do any other mechanism of alerting the people to whomever it is, right? So that is one type of this. Another one is, we are also having chatbots, right? So chatbots, as of now, if you want to find any contact details or any specific information of any a specific company, so you'll go through the company portal, and then in their about section or contact us section, you will find their number. But going forward, it might be going to be completely changed, where they can feed all the website data into the chatbot, so that rather than you navigating through a number of pages to find out what is required, you can just put that query onto the chatbot, so that it can answer you from their content, right? Similarly, if you are there may be some other chatbots where you can create a new request, right? You can create a new request, or you can do the even registration, right? So when you are doing registration of particular, let's say monster is another example if I take, okay, if you want to sign up here, right? So you'll click on sign up, and then you will provide all the details. Either you can do this, or you will be create account. So I think after clicking on this, it will ask you so many details. So rather than you filling all the details there, if you are having a chatbot here, so it keep on prompting, enter your name, so you'll enter your name, then again it will prompt you, enter your last name, mobile number, it just keep on prompting. So all the data which you are passing on the chatbot will be stored in a local variable. Now your robot can pick all those data, and robot will feed into the registration page, and it can create account. Or if you want to do any claims processing, so you will be just entering, you will just scan your that bond image, so that your machine learning models will extract the data from that one and then keep ready. So these are the information that you are having, and further provide additional information from that, rather than you providing repeated information what has been already available. And internally those data can be fed to the robot, so that the robot will do the further processing of creating a new claims for that. Okay, so that way also we can you can use RPA by adopting the AI technology. Okay, so as mentioned, this RPA can be adopted in. There is no like specific limit that only this has to be adopted by smaller companies or big companies. It can be adapted by anyone. Okay, so the tool which we are using here, like UiPath or Automation Anywhere, the Blue Prism. So these all are the licensed based tools where a license comes around 10 lakhs per annum. Okay, for one license, but you can get this processed as many transactions as per day. Right, if you are using 3 employees to do the same repeated jobs, where you might be paying them 10,000, 20,000, or 30,000, or 40,000. Okay, but if you adopt the robot, then you'll be having lot of savings there. Then you might be thinking like this RPA might be making the job lose. It's not like that, but the same resource who are working on the other before it, they can be reutilized for different other purpose. So that is how the industries are doing. So let's say if I was doing a previously copy paste kind of jobs, but instead of me doing, let the robot do it, and organizations might use me for different other purpose rather than sending me out. So it's basically called a repurpose of the same resource. Okay, so any industries like our institutions can also make use of this robot, where if you are having a lot of data in your Excel, the robot can read all those data and then put it in a website. Okay, and the human bot collaboration, so the robot can also work together with the bot. Okay, so what does that mean? The meaning of like human interaction with the robot means that we can have a form there. Okay, let's say any form we can create, and it can prompt you what data you want me to do it. So for example, if I take a customer care, where earlier we used to call the network provider, right? Always asking like I already recharged with so and so amount, but this recharge was not came. So this was a common complaint we usually give in older days. But not only that, but if you are calling any customer service, right? So when you call them nowadays, even that is also become more intelligent. By using your phone number, it will by default bring up the information like who is the customer, unless the customer is calling from the new number. But if it is calling from the registered mobile number, so the moment they answer, they already know who you are. Okay, and then when they are asking for certain details, right, to authenticate you something, so whatever the information that they are doing, so the robot can also be actively working there, so that there is a pop-up comes, and the moment you enter the data, it will itself bring all the information and then keep you in front of your screen, rather than you entering their first name and then search with that and then click on enter, then the data coming. Rather than you doing all these, there will be a pop-up coming asking for mobile number or whatever it is, you enter it. Okay, the robot itself will click enter, and then brings the data and keeps you in front of what kind of queries, and if there were any previous history call happened, so all those information will also bring and keep in front of you, so that you are not wasting time in doing or retrieving all those information. So this is how a human and robot can work together. so that you can increase the you can speed up that customer call rather than you are waiting. You'll always like they will say, right, could you please hold for 2 minutes while I am retrieving your data. So you might have heard this query, right? And then they'll put some music and then you will be waiting for 1 or 2 minutes, then they will come back. Okay, so rather than waiting all those things, the moment a call is answered, so the robot will keep all the data ready in the background so that they are not getting diverted, and they can speed up resolving your query. Okay. And RPA can also be integrated with IoT devices, which we haven't done it, but this can also be integrated with the IoT devices for the secure transactions. Okay. So, any queries before I proceed further? Hope you guys are following rather than one-way traffic. Yeah. I don't have much slides, but I got 2 or 3 more slides, and then I will show you with a practical example of how the tool looks like and how easily we can build any process by using the tools, and then how we can run it and how the robot process. I'll just show more on that. But before that, I just want to make you understand about the concept. Okay. So here I got another example. A multinational company receives thousands of invoices, which I just explained it sometime back, daily from vendors in a different formats. Okay, the format can be of PDF files, or it can be scanned documents, or the claims can be through email as well. So processing them manually, time consuming and error prone. So to avoid this, we are using multiple technologies here. So AI powered tool, right? There is something called document understanding concept available in RPA. This is basically identify what type of claim that it is. Okay, so you'll basically say like for a house it says, right, in UK normally here we are having every householders, they will have insurance on their property. So when a damage happens due to the weather change and all, and if something happens, right, they can claim. That is one type of claim. Okay, and they may also have another repair. But all these types of different types of claims against different properties, either car damage to the vehicle, damage to the house, damage to the person, and these are the different types of the claims, but can still be provided or covered by single company. So they need to understand this particular claim is for what type, so that the respective department will do the needful. Okay, so this AI powered tool can categorize what type of data that it is. Okay, and there will also like something called optical characteristic recognition, OCR, which is widely known. So this can be used to read the data from your the scanned copies. This can read the data, and then you can further apply your NLP concept to analyze and understand the invoice details by reading all the details available in the scanned image. Hard copies is now converted to your soft copy with each and every element read from this. Now we know who is the vendor, what is the amount, what is the due date, and so and so. Each and every variable now we are holding in a soft manner. Now you can put your RPA to enter this data into their application. How easy it is, right? The bot reads the extracted invoice data and enter into the company's ERP system. They'll enter the ERP system. So entering the data into ERP system from PDF as scan or the email is done as a matter of seconds rather than taking minutes and hours. Okay, so we can also check like if this claim has been duplicated. So if person is checking duplicated, it might be a longer duration, but our AI or the RPA can do all these duplicate checks in a matter of seconds in correct amount. If anything, any information that has been, it also has capability of like auto correcting the names, whatever. So let's say the invoice number is matching, but the first name matching, date of birth matching, but there is some issue with the last surname, where the typo has came, or when you are reading the data by using data extraction, right, the name they handwritten is not proper, so it's not like 100% matching. But by using the intelligence tool, you can still consider that. Okay, you can always give the threshold value, like if the other details are matching 80% or the 90%, you can still consider. Okay, so that way also it will automatically do all those corrections and it will process it. Okay, and then finally it will go for the approval. So this is how your RPA and AI can work together to improve your automation. Okay, the good thing here is, like if you are as a part of artificial AI or the machine learning developer, right? So I mean, you might need to still be good strong in analyzing all those. But whereas when it comes to the RPA, so we are not building any of this AI component or ML models. Okay, but whatever is been already there, so tools itself is providing couple of inbuilt already built models. So you just need to use those models into your tool. Let's say, as I mentioned, if you want to read the images, the number plates of the vehicle, so the models were already built. So RPA developers will not be looking into building any of the models, but they just need to know how to use the existing models. That's it. Okay, so that you are passing the required inputs, and then you are getting the required output from that, and then finally you are achieving your goal by using this tool. Okay, so just to continue for this, if an invoice is correct, the RPA bot routes it for the approval based on the predefined business rules. If an issue found, the robot notifies the finance team about that issue. So while it is doing also, if there is data is completely incorrect or it requires any human intervention, your robot will do the redirections. Okay, and then payments and processing notification. Once approved, the RPA schedules the payment and sends the confirmation email to the vendor. So for example, if I take the IT tax refunds, right? Once the this has been processed, so IT returns team, they'll say that, okay, your tax returns has been processed. Now you will be receiving your refunds amount soon, because they do not know how many days that bank will take to refund it, right? But you can still keep a eye with your robot, saying, like, if you are getting any kind of notification from the bank, the robot will keep a monitoring of, like, whether this has been done or not at the banks, and this may even send you the notification email saying that your amount has been issued. So for those purpose also we can use RPA. Okay, so if you look at this, 95% faster processing. Amazing, right? Reduce the manual efforts from the day to do from days to minutes. Okay, error reduction. So error will be reduced a lot because the human errors will be completely eliminated here. The cost saving, because instead of two people or three people working, right? So one robot can be deployed and the robot can work 24 hours without any breaks. So that you can even see, basically wherever our robots are running, the robots, I mean, it doesn't mean that the robot is running in your local machine where you are keeping your laptop or the machine on. It's not like that, but all the robots are deployed in a VDI or the cloud-based system, so that the robot has capability to log in by itself at a predefined or scheduled time. So you can schedule, okay, I want this particular transaction to be processed at evening 5 p.m. Okay, so 3 p.m. You can schedule the job and you can go for out. You can just leave it. The robot will automatically, there is a tool called Orchestrator which I'll show you. So it will trigger the robot so that the username and passwords are also configured in which mission your robot needs to be logged in. So robot will have capability to log into that particular VDA at the mission by itself, and then it will start executing the process. It will launch the application. Everything will be done by automatically. You don't need to do anything. Starting from login, launch your browser, log into that application, do all the processing, and log out from that application, and then shut down your application system as well. Everything end to end together will be done by the robot itself at any time. It is a predefined schedule. Let's say you are having a 10 transaction right now, maybe another 10 transaction be receiving after 1 hour. Even that kind of like transactions can also be processed, and robot can be scheduled to start every 10 minutes. So it will log in, it will process all the transaction, it will shut down the machine. And again, after 1 hour, again it will be started automatically. That scheduling can also be done automatically by the robot itself. That mechanism also available. Okay, so as of now, I just explained what is the robot general concept, but this is something like which tool that we'll be using, right? So like we are having different competitors who can provide the component, right? Like we have Apple phone and Android devices, right? So similarly, we are also having a different companies who provides this RPA tool, and one of them is RPA UiPath. UiPath is a UK-based customer, so they are having this tool, which something looks like a .NET. You might be here about the Visual Studio, right? For the .NET code development, or any Eclipse, or any tool that you are using for your machine learning. Similarly, we are having UiPath. So this is how it looks like. Okay. So this is the editor basically. And if you want to give a try, right, you can also install a trial version. So they will give you a free community edition available for 3 months. I think you can click on this try UiPath free. I'll just put it in Notepad if you want. The chat window, I'm pasting it. So you can click on this trial version. You can give your email ID. You can use your personal email ID and all the details. So there will be a link coming to you to install, download and install this exe. Already are logged in, so it is asking this prompt, but otherwise it will normally redirect you to fill the form. Okay, after filling that, you will be getting an email. Okay, so once you download that, this is how it comes. So basically in UiPath, we are having a three component. Sorry. So I'll come back to this slide, but before to this, I'll explain you this one. So basically UiPath is having a three components. Like we have a server side, client side, and database like this, right? So similarly, so we are having a three components here. So one of them is called UiPath Studio. The studio is nothing but the editor where you are writing your code or the logics. Okay, once your logic is written, you publish it to the something called orchestrator. This orchestrator is again a web-based one, where it will have username and password, and your studio and orchestrator is connected internally. So there will be link, like in the studio you can configure to which website of orchestrator you are publishing your site. There will be a connection between, so that what is ready, you will publish that package to orchestrator. This orchestrator again will have a connection with your UiPath assistant. This assistant is nothing but a one exe running on, is nothing but a robot running on the machine where you want to execute your process. Let's say, for example, I told, right, this can be a VDA, virtual machine, right? Or this can be your local desktop as well. So if I just search UiPath, so you can see UiPath Assistant. This UiPath Assistant will not have any, the user interface apart from the just few settings, like configuring or how you can connect your local machine to orchestrator. Only that kind of settings it will be there, and whether it has any valid license or not. So only, sorry, just give me a minute. I'll just back in a minute. Yeah. So this UiPath assistant or the tool, right? So this will have just a connection with your orchestrator, which is another component. So once the connection is established, this one will take care of executing your robot here. Okay. So let's say these are the different rules are the projects which we build here. All the project that you build here will appear here. So if you want to run anything, you can just select this and then you can run it. So here is if you just need to download, install it and run it. So that whatever the rules that you configured in this one will be executing. Okay. Copy text from an image. So there is another process. So it will read the image and then copy the text from that. So like this, you can have a number of the process that you have built here. So in your case, if you have done something for the insurance claim processing, right? So that will also appear one of the list of this one. So assistant is another one component, and then your studio. Studio is another component. Okay, this is where you can build your project. And the third one is orchestrator. The orchestrator is something, it can be a cloud-based one or it can be your local as well. Okay, so the URL is cloud.uipath.com. Okay, I posted that URL in the chat window. Uh, so this is your another orchestrator where you can monitor whether the robot is running or not. You can configure all your machine. So in this particular window, you can configure your machines. Okay, and all the already available process will also appear here. So let's say in automation, the jobs. If you want to start any job, you can start it from here. So when you click on start, you can select which process that you want to run and then which machine you want to run. So here another mechanism also available, like the 10 people are working for similar type of job, right? Let's say there are 100 claims are available. So to process 100 claims, the company might be having 10 employees recruited for that. So basically doing the same job. So similar way, you can also run 10 robots doing the same job, but all these 10 robots are running in 10 different missions, so that the 1,000 transactions can be processed even easily. But you would need 10 different licenses instead of one license. So that is how the licensing part works here. Okay, and then see, I was just explaining, right, where we can, one of the sample example I was showing you, where you can go to the Google and then type in temperature in your city, okay, and read it and then paste it in on any file. So in this example, I just taking different city names or the country names, okay, and enter here, hit enter, and then read this and put it in notepad. So this is a simple automation which I am just showing you as an example, so that you will understand how the robot is doing it. Okay, so once I run this example, and then I will show you how easily to create such a process. Let me close all the browsers. So once this robot is being published, right? Once this is published to your orchestrator, if you schedule the job, so the robot itself can log into the same machine, and then it itself launch application. So in this case, so let me go to the project here. Let's say here. So in this one, I listed down different countries, but if you want to read the temperature from all these countries, it will take 2 to 3 minutes. But manually, if you are doing also, it will take at least 1 or 2 hours. But what I will do is I will just keep only few. Okay, I'll remove this so that we are not spending. So these are the different countries I have. All the names available in this notepad. Okay, and I also written another where you want to store the temperature. So what I will do is I'll just take out all the data Okay, I just saved it. So right now this file is empty. Okay, but in real time this can be, in different application, or this can be Excel as well. But instead of this temperature, you can also program, like, in stock market or Google Finance, right? If you go to Google Finance, stock market price, right? So sometimes, right, many agents or the brokers, they will keep all this information in their local portal. But how do they get this? So they may use their API and take it, or else they may also take the data from different sources, like, Google Finance or any stock exchange website or Yahoo Finance site. So if you want this particular company's data, you'll enter here, and then you'll be taking whether it is going up or down. So this data. So next time, if you want, let's say what is that TCS data. So you just put TCS there, the company name comes, and what is their one, and whether it is up or down. So like this, if you want to be pros, so you are giving different inputs, right? So all this data, this company names, you can configure it in your local Excel sheet. Okay, and then what is the output you want? You want this data and whether it's going up or down, minute to minute. Or I may be inputting this and read this data and then save it in my local portal. And if you are an engineer, for AI ML engineer, right, and you might need all this data to be extracted, right? So you can use this RPA process so that you will be extracting the history. So whatever the data has been available here for over period, like, 1 day or 1 month or 1 year, right? So I mean, you can navigate to that respective site, and then you can extract all the data and put it in your local. So all extraction can be easily possible by using RPA tool. Hope it might be also helpful for you to extract the data in case you need it for your machine learning process. Okay, so instead of doing this complex one, I just adapted this Google temperature one, so that we won't be spending much time. But I'll show you, like, how to extract the data in case if you are interested. So now I'm just running it. So here I'm running it from the studio, but if it is deployed, it can be triggered from the orchestrator, as I mentioned. So when I do this, it'll just do the bit. So it is launching the Google page. It is searching temperature in Hyderabad. So it will take, and then it is typing in temperature in. It's not me typing, it is robot is typing. Okay. Temperature in China. It's loaded. It's red. United States. I think here the logic is implemented to read one by one and close it, but normally you can rename the logic so that you don't need to close the browser for every time, but you can still remain on the same, and then you can search in the same page. That way also is possible. Because unnecessarily it is closing and then reopening browser is again adding additional seconds time, right? So that can be avoided in our logic. You see, right, how quickly it is typing there. It's because the robot is doing it. So currently we have temperature 5. Yesterday it was -1 here. Okay, I'll just stop it, but hope you got some idea now. I'll just go and open this. It's not here. I think that will come at the last. Just keep this three or four. Save. And this UiPath tool is built on top of .NET framework, so that all the variable names that we are creating here is completely dependent on the .NET framework. So if someone is familiar with the .NET framework, right? So it will be even further easier for you to program by using the collections available in your .NET. You see, right? Is three done? No. Just China and United States. So this is how it will add. Depends on the current values that you configure in the input file. So this is the output file. Okay. So now, how easy it is, right? So I'll show you that as well. So if you want to add any new project, you can just go to project, add, and you can just say new, and I'll say extract data. There's some file which you are doing, and create it. Okay. And if you are doing something on the browser, okay, you keep that browser open. Let's say Google Finance India. Okay. And this, open this, and then open this file. Let's say for this particular one, I want to read certain information or this whole data, right? So if I want to extract this, so I'll go to this page and I'll just say there's something called activities. So you need to interact with the browser. So there is something called browser, drag and drop. Okay. So that the coding to use your browser is done. Now, which browser you want to interact with, indicate this under browser. Click, it will highlight and you can see everything is become dark red. Click anywhere. So now it understood you need to open. You see this URL, everything is came. The moment, so this is the page, right? I'm closing it. Now if I run it, my studio now UiPath knows I need to launch this URL. Whatever the URL you give here, it will launch it. Okay, it will pay URL. Then now it is launching. Now, if you want to read all this information, you just need to write slight logic. But there is also another way where it has a inbuilt mechanism to write the code for yourself. So that is possible through recording. So there is something called recording here. If we start this, okay, what are the activities that you do here, right? It will generate a code for that. Okay, so it's my browser. So I'll stop recording. Stop recording. Close it. I'll open. So I'll try to wind up this soon. The properties, it will have the URLs, and if you want to change the URL, you can get it changed here. See here URL, right? So what are the URL that you give here? If you want different, right? So here you can change. Here it is having company name. Here if you change this name to the different name by appending your text, right? So that particular company name will come automatically, and you can apply your for loop on top of that, so that it will automatically relaunch. Okay, and then I'll say for this start recording. So the moment I click start recording, then onwards it will start recording. Okay, I'll click here. It will say what action you want to do. Whether you want to read something from here, or you want to type something, or you just want to do click. What action that you are doing, you need to tell. So here I want to type something. So I'll select type into. So whatever the HTML code is built in background, right? Your tool will extract that. Okay, now this is the place. Now I'll say, okay, you are right with this. Then you select OK. Okay, so this part is done. So what you want to type in here? I want to type here TCS. Okay, then confirm. So next time instead of this, it will type, and then next one is hit enter. Okay, hit enter. Okay, and then if you want to start recording, let's say you want to read this data. Just highlight this and then say get text. So you can get this text. So whichever the field that you want, you can just highlight that and do what action you want to do. Okay, say yes. After doing this, let's say you want to click on some link here. Okay, click here. Whatever the action that you are doing, right, you just keep highlighting and then select OK. We'll keep on generating the code for you in the background. What you want to type here? Some variable name it is asking. Okay, and then when you say stop and save, it will generate you the code. So if you are having a complex object where you need to navigate multiple pages, everything will get activated and you run it, it will take the data. There's some error now, but if your form is simple straight away, then it will work more effectively. But sometimes your website is more complex because of their background design. So right now we are having um, so many tools and native tools, right? So because of that, some nowadays the websites are also not the dynamically changing. If there is a nature of website dynamically changing, then it may have more complications in building your RPA tool. But otherwise, if it is a more straightforward, it doesn't change dynamically, then those applications will be, the RPA performs very good on those. So normally in our internal any customers, right? So we'll be having dedicated for to those jobs only. So it won't be that much of dynamic. So the output will be more reliable than this. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it. We are near to close your time, so we got 5 more minutes. If you got any questions to discuss here, feel free to unmute yourself or put your questions in comment. So if you really want to start career into this one, as I mentioned, the uipath.com, they also have a something called academy.uipath.com. So you can learn the courses freely from this portal. But there are so many YouTube videos available as well. The YouTube also you can find. There are plenty of YouTube channels available, and the end to end you can learn and become expertise within 2 to 3 months. There are also courses, I mean, the paid courses outside, which will cost you hardly 10,000 for the entire duration, like 2 months or 45 days they will have. So within 45 days you can learn, and they will charge you around 10,000. You can get your career started on this one as well. And you can choose one of the multiple available tools like UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism. Okay, so these are most popular one. And RPA UiPath is having more features and simple to learn compared to any other tool. Yeah, so that's it from my side, unless if you have any more questions.
Participants, if you have any questions, please unmute your mic and ask.
Okay, seems to be good, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Questions came now.
your voice is coming very low. If you could come to your mic.
Yes, yes. Okay, sir. It is time to give out of thanks to this speaker. On behalf of Sri Mittapalli College of Engineering and all participants of the Atal Faculty Development Program, I would like to extend a heartful vote of thanks to our esteemed resource person, Mr. Kishore Bhukia, for delivering an incredible, insightful, and enlightening session on intelligent robotic process automation. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for your active participation. Let us continue to embrace the future of the automation and innovation. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
No problem.